Good morning. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're a subscriber. Today's video is going to be about the pros and cons of chip drop. Chip drop is a service that my sister turned me on to, and some very smart individual figured out that the tree services need somewhere to drop off their wood chips after they mulch them up, and people on a budget or large agricultural projects need tons of wood chips. So this company cleverly pairs entities up so you and I can get free wood chips, and this also saves the tree services money for having to dump the wood chips. Now, from what I understand, and I'm not 100% clear on this because, this is their inside business model, the chip drop company charges a fee to these landscape companies to pair them with and to set up the drop off at the client's house. I'm saying client, but it is a free service. So it all sounds good, right? Because basically everything I just babbled means you and I get free wood chips, and a large amount of them. So I'm working on a big project right now, and I need a ton of wood chips. Now, when I say wood chips, they also are they're pretty open about the fact that you're going to get a lot of greenery in the wood chips. You get good logs in the wood chips. You have the choice of taking log, big chunks, and wood chips. But here's a pretty good example of pine. I'm guessing this was redwood, and I really don't mind the greenery in it because, as you can see, it's decomposing, it's making some heat, and this is going to actually help with what I'm using it for in my current project, because this is going to make the ground a little warmer around the cuttings that I've put into the ground, which is going to promote the roots to grow quicker. So the pros and cons of chip drop. Pros and cons are you're putting your order like via email, and you're taking a picture of this general location that you want the chips dropped. And 9 times out of 10, you are not going to get any kind of notice when they're coming to drop the chips. So the first order I put in for chip drop, they said they were here. They said they came. And when I ran outside to check things out, nobody was here. No one ever dropped any chips off. So I was like, okay, well, get what you pay for. No chips. The second truck came. Luckily, I was home, and it's because they got lost, because one of our roads is washed out right now. And I was able to come out and instruct the guy, and everything went great, and it was perfect. Second one was great. Third drop off, which was actually my second load of chips, I looked out the window and I saw the truck, and it was like he was having a hard time maneuvering or something, but I didn't want to micromanage. So I was like, I'm going to give him some time. So got some clothes on, got my boots on. It was raining. By the time I got outside, the truck was gone, but there were no wood chips. I was like, that's odd. He just kind of gave up. And the sad thing is you have to show them exactly where they want to put the wood chips. So I can kind of understand if he felt like he couldn't squeeze them in between the pine tree and this load. But then there was this huge space here that anyone with any kind of common sense could have just dumped a load right there, right? Perhaps they didn't feel that they could take those liberties, but a quick text would have remedied that. So this is where it gets shitty really fast. About an hour or so later, I get a text from the neighbor asking me about the load of wood chips that I was supposed to get. Because I shared the company, because I thought it was so great, I shared the company's information on our WhatsApp group, telling everyone, hey, if you need free wood chips, this is a great resource, and they deliver. Because the company that was supposed to dump that third load of wood chips basically just drove about halfway up our street and dumped this ginormous amount of wood chips on the side of the road. So what do? You didn't pay for it, but yet they've done something really shitty. Now, as a businessman, I wanted the owner of that company to know this bizarre decision that his employee made to just dump a giant load of wood chips on the side of a public road. Because to me, as an entrepreneur most of my life and a businessman, I see this person with really poor judgment and a liability. Like, if that's the way this person thinks and that's acceptable, what is this person doing behind the scenes that the manager of this company has no idea, or the owner of this company? I would want to know about this person, and I would not want them working for me. So I start getting more communication from neighbors about the giant pile of wood chips, because now it's my fault. And I'm trying to reach out to the manager of the company that dropped the wood chips out in the middle of the road halfway down the street. And I'm trying to communicate with Chip Drop, letting them know what had happened and asking them, like, what do I do? Who's going to take responsibility for this? And basically, welcome to the new world. Neither entity felt the need to take responsibility for what had happened. So now it's completely back on me to come up with the resources to get this literal ton of wood chips off the side of the road and back to my property. The owner of the landscape company, or the tree service whose employee dumped the load, basically told me, unless I had a photograph or a video of their truck actually dumping the wood chips, that there's no way that I could prove it. He said that in kind of twisted words. And the fact is, my next door neighbor was stuck behind the truck with her poor screaming infant while it was dumping the chips on the side of the road. But of course, who's going to take photographs of that? It's just all so obvious what had happened. So he basically told me to screw off. And then the Chip Drop people came back at me with, oh, that's really unfortunate, but something's not adding up, because, well, you said like the first load never came, but then do, and then they said they couldn't deliver the load because there was nowhere to put it. And so they suddenly started twisting everything around and blaming me for what had happened, because I think they were afraid I wanted them to take responsibility for it. So anyway, pros and cons of Chip Drop. If you use the service, you may get free wood chips. It's not going to be the highest quality wood chip, but if you're just using it like I am for this agricultural project, it's perfect. But be prepared to have to manage the delivery. And I don't know how to tell you to do that, because they don't guarantee you get any notice that somebody is coming, and you will have absolutely no control of what happens once you commit to having a delivery made. And if something goes wrong, there will be no one will take responsibility from either the company that dropped the wood chips off, or the actual company, the wood chip company that sets up, who's the in-between guy that sets up these deliveries from the tree service companies. So that kind of limits you to, if you are retired or work from home, I would say that the Chip Drop service may be a great option for you. If you don't have the ability to micromanage the delivery, it could be a disaster and something could happen like what happened to me. There you go. Chip Drop reviewed. Take care.